Okay, so I'm going to explain some questions, maybe all questions from the quiz that you had last week. Yeah. So for the first question is we have state this expression in a single index form. So you have this question and also this question. We have actually different question from both 9 Seoul and 9 Manchester. So both of you guys have different question, but actually they have the same exact concept. Okay, so instead of me like solving all these two questions, I'm gonna make a new question for you guys, and but using the same concept, because so I'm gonna make a new one. Okay, so this is a question that I just made. So if you want to state this expression into a single index form, we need to understand the law of indices first, or law of exponent. We know that well, we are using two laws in here, the first law and the second law. The first law is a to the power of m times a to the power of n equals to a to the power of m plus n. Just notice that if you have the same exact base, right, this is the base, right, if they're being multiplied, you only need to add the power, right? Okay, and the second law is actually just division, so it's a to the power of m over a to the power of n equals to a to the power of m minus n. So notice again, if you have the same exact base, right, so you only need to subtract. This time you subtract the power, the one on the numerator, subtract by the one in the denominator. Okay, so just make sure that the power, so the base are the same. Okay. Okay, so in this question we have all of the base are the same, right, and they're being multiplied. So let's focus on the one on the numerator first. That will be just 7. Okay, and then you only need to add the power because all of them are being multiplied, so you only need to add them. So it's just 3 plus 5 plus 8. Okay, the one on the denominator are also the same thing. We have these two 7 to the power of 4 and multiply by 7 to the power of 9, in which, because they have the same exact base number, so we can just multiply these two numbers. So it'll be 7 to the power of 4 plus 9, right? Okay, so doing the same exact concept, so we only need to add these numbers, so that will be 7 to the power of 16, is it? Yes, it is 16 over 7 to the power of 13, right? So yeah, because this is 16, this is 13, right? Okay, now again, we're not done yet because we can actually have, because we still have the same base, right, and they're being divided, so which means that we can use the second law, this one. So that will be 7 to the power of 16 minus 13, and that will be just 7 to the power of 3. Okay, now after you understand the concept, you can try to do these two questions using the same exact concept that I have just shown to you. Okay, the second question is also the same actually. Simplify the following expression into a single index form. Again, we're just combining all of them so that becomes just one term. Okay, so in here we have a lot. Again, I'm gonna instead of answering these questions, these two questions, this one and this one, I'm going to explain using my own new questions, and then you can try these two questions later on after I explain this. Okay, so this is my new question, and the instruction is still the same. It's simplifying the following expression into a single index form. Okay, so we have used the first and the second law for the first question. Now we actually can use the third law. The third law is this, which is if I have a to the power of to the power of n again, so you will be just multiplying these two powers. So that will be just a to the power of mn, or nm. It's the same thing, yeah. Okay, now can you see that we have a bracket, and then we have a power over here, and then we have also another bracket over here. So the easiest way on how to do it is you do the one inside the bracket first. So we know that we have a bracket inside a bracket, so the deepest bracket you need to do it first. Okay, so we are going to focus on this one first. Okay, so we can use the third law, this law, to simplify that, right? So we can just like multiply these two power. So 5 times 2, that will be equals to 10, right? So I'm gonna rewrite this. All becomes c to the 10 over c to the 12, and then sorry, I need to erase that first. Okay, that equals here. and then to the power of minus 3, and then multiply by c to the power of 7. So just remember, guys, if you are doing this like downwards, you need to put them exactly below it, and then notice that you need to like include all of them. Do not just like move one of them, like only like doing this one, and then do put it over here, for example, like this, right? This is completely wrong. Okay, so please practice on how to write systematically. Okay, so yeah, we have this this one change into this, right? The one that I highlight, the 5 times 2 is equals to 10. And then again, we still have inside the bracket, we still have a process, right? Since again we have the same exact base, right? So we can because this is a division, right? This is a division, so we can just subtract the power, so that will be equals to c to the, maybe I'm gonna write down the process to make sure that you know. So this is going to be 10 minus 12. Okay, so where do I get this? It's from the power. Okay, so notice that you need to write it down like this. Okay, do not write like this. This is not the same as this one. Okay, so be very careful with that. Okay. Okay, and then to the power of minus 3 doesn't change, and then times c to the power of 7 also doesn't change. Okay, and then we can do the calculation over here. 10 minus 12 is minus 2, so we can say it's c to the power of minus 2 to the power of minus 3 times c to the power of 7. And again, we have a bracket, and we have a power here and here, and then again we can go back to this law over here, right? And we can use that law to multiply these two numbers, right? So that will be equals to c to the power of minus 2 times minus 3, and then multiply it what by c minus 7. So that will be, if you multiply these two, you'll get 6, right? Positive 6. Okay, and then multiply that again with c to the power of 7. Okay, we know that we have the same exact base, right? And they're being multiplied. What you do, because they are multiplication, you only need to add the power. Okay, so that will be just c to the power of 6 plus 7, or equals to c to the power of 13. So this is the final answer for this question. Okay, now I would like you to try these two questions using the same concept like I just shown you here. Okay, next question, number 3. We have these two questions, right? This one and this one, and basically they're actually have the same concept again. So I'm gonna read the first one. Is if 3 to the power of 2x times 3 to the power of 3y over 3 to the power of 5 equals to 3 to the power of 9, what is y in terms of x? Okay, so notice that in here is what is y in terms of x is that your final answer should be y equals to something. Okay, so the y is alone in one side of the equal sign, and the other goes to the other side of the equal sign. Yeah, the same thing with this one. So if the question is what is x in terms of y, for example, for this question, so the final answer should be x equals to something, right? So be very careful with that, because I seen that some of you write it down in x equals to something. Okay, so then again, instead of answering these two questions, I'm going to make my own new question, and then this one over here. So the question for this one is, what is y? What is y in terms of x? So the same thing, yeah? I'm gonna do the same question like this one, right? But actually, this is it's the same thing, yeah. Okay, so notice that we in here we only need the first and the second law. Okay, notice that whenever you do like there are a lot of things to do here, so you might want to focus to one place first. Okay, so can we see that the one on the numerator here, we can combine them, right? So we can just like do the first law to simplify it, right? So if I use this the first law, they'll be just, because again we know that they have the same exact base, so they're being multiplied, so you only need to add the power, right? So I can write down the numerator as 5 to the power of 4x plus 7y. Okay, so the other doesn't change. Oh, sorry, it should be equals to, yeah. Okay, see what I'm doing is just like combining those two, so I'm just doing this one, right? So the other doesn't change. So remember that you always need to do it right like this, right? So you need to include all of them for every time you go to the next line. Okay, so and then we can also combine these two, right? Because they're division, and again we know that they have the same exact base again, so we we can just subtract the power. So this power subtracted by this power, right? So that will be 5 to the power of 4x plus 7, this guy, right? And then minus it with 8. So notice that you only need to take the power, right? Subtract this guy with this guy. Okay, that's it. Okay, do not put the 5 in here because the 5 is the base. Okay, do not do that. Okay, okay, that will be equals to 5 to the power of 13. So this guy doesn't change yet. Okay, notice that in this expression, in this equation, sorry, so you have the same exact base, right? If you have the same exact base in an equation, you can just like take the power. So this guy is equals to this guy, right? So let's write it down. So that'll be 4x plus, sorry, I forgot to put the y here. Okay, so 4x plus 7y minus 8 equals to 13. Then again, because the question is what is y in terms of x, so we need to make the y alone in one side of the equal sign. I'm going to make the y alone on the left side of the equal sign. So everything else besides the y is going to be moved to the other side of the equal sign. So let this stays there, okay? So this is what we should do first. So because there are terms, right? So there are 3 terms in here. We have 1 term, 2 terms, and 3 terms. The one that has the y, right? The term that has the y stays on the left side. The other 2 must move to the other side of the equal sign. Okay, so that's the thing that we need to do first. Okay, so the 7y, I'm going to still put it on my left side of the equal sign. The 13 stays there. And then the 4x move to the other side, it will be minus 4x. And then the minus 8 move to the other side becomes plus 8. Okay. Okay, so this is the first step. Sorry. Okay. And then we can actually simplify the one on the right side because we know 13 plus 8 is equals to 21, is it? Yes, it's 21. Right? So you can write it down as, sorry, 7y equals to 13 plus 8 is 21, so it's 21 minus 4x, right? Because we can combine these two, becomes 21. Okay, so we're not done yet because it's not y equals to, we still need to move this guy, right? 7 to the left. So because we know that if you want to move something, means that it's the opposite operation of that operation on the other side of the equal sign, because this is a multiplication, because 7y is 7 multiplied by 7. When you move the 7 to the other side, there will be a division, right? So it will be y equals to 21 minus 4x over 7. Okay, so since we have the y alone on one side of the equal sign, then this is going to be the final answer. Okay, so now I would like you to, I would like you to try these 2 questions. Okay,